What's up, Melanated family? This is your brother Harrison from the Melanated Combo YouTube channel. Thank you for joining me today for another episode of History Matters, where we talk about the people, places, and situations from our past, all in an attempt to get a better understanding of how we are to move forward in the future, right? So today we are going to talk about no other than the man who's known as the richest man in history, Mansa Musa. Right, so let's get into his story, family. Again, if you haven't watched one of our videos before, please hit that like button. Subscribe to the Melanated Combo YouTube channel so you can become a member of the family. So let's get it going. Like I said, today we're going to talk about Mansa Musa, who is also known as Musa Keita. He was the king and ruler of Mali in South Africa and the ninth Mansa of the Mali Empire. Typically, the Mansa was put on the end of your name when you became a king at that time. He was a member of the Keita dynasty and was born, sometime in the 1280s. Mansa Musa came from a rich family history of royalty. His grandfather, Abba Bakra Keita, was the brother of Sundiata Keita, who was the founder of the Mali Empire. Now, Mansa Musa ruled from 1312 CE to around 1337 CE. He came to power after the previous king, Mansa Abu Bakr II, disappeared at sea after taking some 3,000 ships with him to explore the Atlantic Ocean. Now, apparently, he was interested in knowing what was on the other side after sending a convoy of ships to sea, and only one of them returned with news of basically how difficult that journey was traveling the Atlantic Ocean. Now, Mansa Musa was previously Abu Bakr II's deputy, or or on-call emperor, just in case something like this happened, right? Similar to the vice presidents that we have here in the United States. Now, Mansa Musa gained his wealth through trading gold and salt, which at the time West Africa had plenty of, right? Now, he would use his wealth to strengthen the kingdom of Mali and expand his empire by annexing, or basically taking control of, 24 cities around him, including Timbuktu, stretching his territory to more than 2,000 miles. Now, this basically gave him more access to wealth, more access to gold and silver, kind of helping to establish him as the richest man in history. Now, even though he was quite wealthy and, was building a dominant empire, he wasn't well known outside of West Africa. Now, that actually would change in 1324, when Mansa Musa, a devout Muslim, wanted to take a pilgrimage to Mecca. Now, during this trip, his riches were basically on full display. It is said that he traveled to Mecca, which was maybe 4,000 miles away from where he was, with 6,000 men, taking his entire royal court, and officials, soldiers, entertainers, merchants, camel drivers, and at least 12,000 slaves was amongst the 60,000 people, as well as, sheep and goat for food and things of that nature. Now, with most of the people with him was draped in gold or Persian silk. Now, this is including the slaves, right? So each camel that Mansa Musa had with him was carrying hundreds of pounds of gold. So if you can visually picture this, family, it was if an entire city was moving through the Sahara Desert in Egypt. Now, Mansa Musa was so gracious with his riches that during his journey, he bought up all the goods that he could from the people he came across, as well as handing out gold to anyone in need. He did this so much that he literally left the streets littered with gold. This had a major effect on the economy in all the areas that he passed through, including Cairo, Medina. And this basically lowered the value of gold in these places simply because how, generous he was with his gold. And it would take some of these places up to 12 years to recover and, stabilize their economy after his visit. Now, his trip to Mecca brought attention to the king from Europe, as well as, different places around the world. We have to understand that at the time, Europe was dealing with civil wars. They was dealing with the bubonic plague and different types of financial hardships. So when they were able to confirm what the king was doing, it was pretty astonishing to people who didn't have much at the time. Now, after his trip from Mecca, Mansa Musa will return to West Africa with Islamic scholars, architects. He would build, and this is after his trip to Mecca, he would build several historical mosques, schools, libraries, some of which are, still standing today. He would eventually be king for 25 years, basically turning West Africa, which was already prosperous, into a place that people came from far and near to view. Places like Timbuktu, and just taking a look at all the resources that he was able to establish, right? So making his part of Africa somewhat of a tourist attraction and making him a legend in the process. Now, from the information I was able to gather, he died around 1337 at the age 57. So this has been the story of our brother Mansa Musa, who is considered to be the richest man in history, family. So this has been another episode of History Matters. This is your brother Harrison. Like I said, please hit that like button, subscribe to the Melanated Convo YouTube channel for more videos like this in the future. I'm out.